It's probably not called Pegasus Bridge anymore, is it? And 28 soldiers landed on this spot at 20 past midnight.
28 soldiers in one glider. We've just been through Rheims, and it turns out it's a ULEZ type clean air zone. But you don't need to pay, I don't think. You just have to have the crit air sticker. Now, never occurred to us we would be going into a major city, because it wasn't our intention, but we ended up being funneled through, and we haven't got a sticker, so we're a bit concerned we might be hit with a fine. But the thing is, I didn't see any AMPR, and we didn't get stopped by a policeman.
So I'm frantically Googling whether we're going to end up with a fine. I mean, I didn't see any cameras.
No, I didn't.
Whether, you know, they're hidden or whatever, I don't know. Lovely summer weather! Right. After driving for what seemed like forever, we finally found a park up. And we're 7 minutes away from Pegasus Bridge. Really tired, so we thought we'd find a park up. It's about 6:30, something like that. So I'll show you this park up where we are. It's been raining all day. Never mind. So that's where we are. A nice little pull in from the main road there, which probably won't be quite so busy as it gets later on. And we're not in the puddles, which is good. And I believe there's a little church somewhere around here, and it says on Park for Night that at 9 p.m. and at 7 a.m. they sound the bells. So that should be quite nice, I think. An alarm clock for the morning. Can't go wrong. And we're under this tree. So we're going to set up and settle down for the night. Get something to eat. And get our heads down ready for tomorrow. Because it's Pegasus Bridge that we're going to. Something to do with World War II, to be exact. And to be even more exact, to do with just right before the Normandy landings in 1944.
In 50 metres, at the roundabout, take the third exit onto D514. In 600 metres, at the roundabout, take the fourth exit onto Avenue du Commandant
Pegasus Bridge.
D514.
So we're going to give you a bit of a brief overview, not a lot, because there's loads of amazing history channels out there that do this a whole lot better than we ever could. But we're going to drive over the new Pegasus Bridge, and then we're going to hopefully walk to a couple of the glider landing sites. We'll tell you more about that in a minute. And then also we're going to go to the museum. This is the new Pegasus Bridge.
And I think it looks identical just about, doesn't it, to the...
I think it's pretty similar, but look at that. Spectacular. It'd be great if we saw a boat come through, wouldn't it? So they had to raise it, because I think it's a drawbridge, isn't it? Like
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's like a swinging up drawbridge, I think. Yeah, I think so. Not sure, I'm not an engineer. Not a lot, really, am I?
No.
I'm not a lot.
So, there's quite a few things around here, you know, tanks and stuff like that. And
yeah, I think most of these houses got a water tank. Got a water tank in them. Did you know? Fun fact: the reason why they're called tanks is because when they were doing the shipments, it was like the code word tank, pretending that they were like water tanks or something for troops, and so the name stuck. They became tanks.
Actually looked like a tank, didn't it?
They did. They looked very.
Yeah, right. You need to go all the way right round this roundabout.
I know.
In 300 metres, turn right.
Ah, shut up. Yeah, they do. The early tanks were not great. Well, they capable of about 4 miles an hour, was it? And the tracks came off, they got bogged down really easily. The armour wasn't great, you know.
Right, so it looks like we're going back over.
Well, most of the things to see on the other side, I think.
Yeah. This is the
new
Turn right,
Pegasus
then your
Bridge.
destination will be on the right.
Yeah, shut up.
Ignore her because I put in a pin for parking. So, and it does
Your
look.
destination is on the right.
No, it's not because that's not where we're going.
Oh, we're confusing the poor lass.
Yeah.
Poor lass.
So this is the
New Pegasus Bridge.
Pegasus Bridge. It's probably not called Pegasus Bridge anymore, is it?
Was it some other name, like Oscar or something?
Well, it's going to be filmed a bit higgledy-piggledy, is this? But never mind, well, there's so much stuff around
Just
here.
for a change. So we've got the bridge in the background.
Yeah,
And we've got gun emplacement here.
right, we'll just show you this gun emplacement. There we go. And I don't know much about
I'm
guns.
assuming this is the German side because I think the Normandy beaches are down that way. So
Think so?
I think. I'll tell you what. Just do
Well-
a quick look at my compass. Well, actually, it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious this is going to be a German gun emplacement because they're defending the bridge. Maybe they've had them on the side as well, probably. But anyway, it's going to be. They're defending the bridge, so it's bound to be. It is a German gun emplacement. Let's face that. It stands to reason. So let's take a walk down, and we'll talk a little bit about the history of the battle.
The operation for the gliders was Operation
What's that?
Deadstick. And we're at the spot where 2 gliders landed.
Why did they use gliders, which seems much more intense and much more committing than if you simply jumped out of an aeroplane in a parachute? Not in a parachute, with a parachute. Well, it'd be daft jumping out of the aeroplane without the parachute, I suppose. But no, I wonder why they use gliders. Maybe they could carry more sort of weaponry, more sort of ordnance.
So it says here, Operation Deadstick was a glider assault on Pegasus Bridge, which was part of the operation of the D-Day landings. So this plan was to capture Pegasus Bridge just before midnight on the 6th of June 1944. And the plan was to hold the bridge and wait for the forces, the troops, to come through and capture the bridge.
Well, they'd caught the bridge.
Yeah.
It was to stop reinforcements, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Because obviously, as soon as the Germans spotted that there was a massive landing on these beaches, they would have been sending reinforcements to try and defend those beaches, and that would have been
Yeah.
pretty bad for the Allies to defend against increased numbers, artillery, whatever, tanks. So by managing to capture the bridge, they prevented that happening.
Major John Howard, company commander of D Company, the 2nd Battalion of the Oxford and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, who was part of the 6th Airborne Division on that day. And when he captured the bridges, the code name was Ham and Jam.
There was 2 bridges, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was
But this bridge wasn't originally called Pegasus, but the regiment that they had was had a winged bird, the Pegasus, and the bridge was renamed in their honour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we're walking down to the glider landing points, which will have a commemorative plaque, no doubt, but unlikely to have bits of glider hanging around still. Maybe in the museum, but we will see.
This here is another spot where a glider had landed. So 6 Horsa Gliders carried the troops who led the attack on the Orne Bridge, also known as the Horsa Bridge. And that's of the Cairn Canal, named Pegasus Bridge, so there were 2 bridges. So, as we said before, Major Howard's men were tasked to secure the bridges and therefore hold their position and wait for support from the 7th Parachute Battalion and then number 4 Commando for reinforcements.
Look at that, imagine. You've got to have some guts to jump, to get in that, haven't you? And be towed, because you're so committed. Unreal, isn't it? The bravery of these people, just incredible.
So on this spot at 18 hours, so nearly 20 past midnight, on the 6th of June 1944, the Horsa Glider of Lieutenant R.A. Smith, piloted by Staff Sergeants Barkway and Boyle, and also carrying Captain J. Vaughan, Royal Army Medical Corps, and 28 soldiers landed on this spot at 20 past midnight.
28 soldiers in one glider?
Apparently so,
Wow.
that's what it says here.
God.
So,
That is gutsy.
so as we know,
Gutsy.
the D-Day landings, Operation Overlord, was the 6th of June 1944, and they landed on the beaches. They coming from the sea. They landed approximately about 7:30 in the morning on that day. So this was the first operation.
I don't know, daylight was in June, would have been about 4 a.m, wouldn't it? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't
I'm
know.
not
No,
up on
but
that.
we're not. We're doing our best here, folks.
So,
But like I said, this is an overview because we're interested in this sort of stuff. But we'll learn about it.
we're actually
during the
just
day.
learning about it
Well,
right now.
We've watched documentaries, good old YouTube, haven't we?
Yeah,
But-
I knew about it briefly, but I didn't know really any information about this. We're actually learning on the spot right now. But it's good. Hopefully we're not getting anything wrong, but
And that's the canal.
so on this spot, film me. On this spot, the Horsa Glider of Lieutenant D.J. Wood, piloted by Staff Sergeants Boland and Hobbs, and also carrying Captain H.R.K. Nelson, Royal Engineers, and 28 soldiers, landed on this spot at 17 minutes past midnight on the hours of 6th of June 1944.
Really close together.
So, yeah,
Talk about accurate flying.
I do
really.
know that one
So
of
it was
them...
about 32 men then, wasn't it? 28 soldiers on top of the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, so about 32 men.
So I do know also there might be a plaque somewhere. I do also know that there was one glider that apparently landed in that pond there, and unfortunately,
Isn't that the canal?
I think it's
that
the
a pond?
pond. No, it's the pond.
Is that the pond?
Yeah. He died. He drowned.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Was it the whole boat? Or no, he was thrown from the. I think it was one of these gliders. He was thrown from it for whatever. He kind of crash landed, and he ended up.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think. So obviously, you have casualties in war.
A little bit more information. Pegasus Bridge was originally called the Benouville Bridge, after a neighbouring village. So it's a road crossing the Cairn Canal between Cairn and Oxfordshire in Normandy. I'm butchering these names.
Maybe put them up on screen. Maybe put them up on screen, then then people can read them out and butcher them themselves.
The original built in 1934, and it's now a war memorial and a centrepiece in the Memorial Pegasus Museum. So we will be going to see that. So this bridge was actually replaced in 1994, and it's a modern design which is like the old one. It's a bascule bridge.
A bascule?
Bascule. I don't actually know what this means. Shall we just go check it all out now, the original one?
I think it'd be rude not to.
It'd be rude not to.
It's nice, isn't it?
I don't know anything much about this sort of stuff.
This sort of stuff. Oh, that's very basic.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Basic.
Blimey.
Look at the front, the steering wheel, whatever. Look at the size of the window slits as well.
Oh, there.
That's it.
Them bits here.
Yeah, well, they look. When it fell off the wall. Have a look, Addison. This does actually lift up.
That bit there.
Yeah, it does actually lift up, but obviously that's for when you're going to combat. You want to have a smaller target for the enemy as you can, don't you? Camera's blocked.
Do you think this might have been the original one then?
Oh, it's original, of course it is, yeah. All these are original, aren't they?
Look at this. Do you think these might have been used in the actual event?
It's hard to say, isn't it? It's a possibility. I mean, this is actually...
Don't know if you're allowed on them.
Been asked. Should have done. Could actually be towed, this. Got towed and hitch.
Ah, it says don't climb on. So don't climb on anything else. I think you can walk across the bridge.
I think you can.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? That'd be really cool. Oh, and look, James.
What are you looking at? Yep.
Look at this. People have left poppy wreaths. And we never thought of that, did we? We've got some poppies and things in car, haven't we?
Yeah.
Right, let's have a walk along the famous Pegasus Bridge. Excuse you. So, this is the original Pegasus Bridge that was taken on the morning of 6th of June 1944.
It's got metal road base. I wonder if that presumably how it was. Well, that weighs a lot less than tarmac and whatever that they do on the modern bridge.
That I don't know, but there's some information down there, but we'll have to go around to the side. So this is a Horsa Glider carrying a maximum of 30 men, troops or equipment.
Bicycles, motorcycles, jeeps with trailer, anti-tank weapons.
You actually can see how they could have up to a maximum of about 30 men.
You can see how they could.
Yeah.
Or you could have had, like it said, a jeep and trailer and anti-tank artillery pieces and all sorts.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of guts to fly this thing or get in it.
I know. So this one over here, go stand near it. It's a 25-pounder field gun introduced into the service in 1940. A full gun detachment consisted of 6 men, although 4 men could operate the gun quite readily. Let's have a look at it then. I'm wondering, oh look at this. This is all like intricate
Calibrated for
mathematic physics detail that I have no idea. I haven't
Well,
got a clue how to understand all
Well, I
that.
don't, but basically what it is calibration, and it allows you to. You'll pretty well know. Probably each one of these turns moves it one segment, so you know that if your shell landed 20 meters to the left, you'd wind this one a certain distance potentially, and if it was 20 meters beyond the target, you'd wind this one a certain way and really zoom in on your target. So your first shells might miss, but your subsequent ones wouldn't necessarily, and certainly after a few rounds you would be pinpoint accurate, wouldn't you?
What's this about dragon's teeth? Ah, here we go. Dragon's teeth. These here.
Yeah.
Enforced concrete square pyramid obstacles used to impede the movement of tanks and merchandise infantry. The idea was to slow down the vehicles, enabling them to be disposed of more easily by anti-tank weapons.
That's right.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Dragon's teeth. Let's have a look at them. There you go. There's something new every day.
Right, okay. Think of which one was it? Think of the not Flodden, the one further north.
Oh. You mean with Robert the Bruce?
Yeah. What's that battle called?
Begins with C, doesn't it?
No.
Doesn't it?
Anyway.
I can't remember. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the traps that he made, dug holes in ground.
But what's the name of the battle?
Do you know? I gain more knowledge, and other bits of knowledge fall out of my ears. That's what happens to me.
Pours out. One new bit of knowledge goes in, pushes out another one, the old one.
It was in 1314, wasn't it? Oh, it'll come to us eventually. Oh,
Anyway,
we'll put it on screen.
Anyway, what they did was they built little pits with stakes hammered in, which meant that the horses couldn't go over that, or they'd be maimed if they tried to. So they were forced into a narrow section, in other words, a killing zone. And that's exactly this. It moves on. It's the same thing but moves on. And it's just like every bit of warfare. If you think those Battle of Bosworth, that reenactment that we went to at the Battle of Bosworth, they did exactly the same, didn't they? They built those guys were firing those really old sort of cannon, really old cannon, weren't they? But same method. If you had more men, obviously you could do it quicker. And it's amazing how military tactics have just in some ways stayed the same, but then obviously developed and been honed in the way they do things. They learn from experience.
What was the battle again? We've googled it. Battle of Bannockburn.
Battle of Bannockburn, yeah.
Right.
Exactly the same tactics as those so-called dragon's teeth. Right. The reason for the calibration, all this on the side,
Right.
is just like those calibrations on that field gun, because they had such a limited view. Let's have a look. I think basically, look, you see those two little square things on top?
Oh yeah.
They're what do you call them? Those things where you look through and it goes up. What do you call those things?
Periscope.
Periscope. That's it. They're basically periscopes. That was his field of vision. It was so limited that somebody would be outside and be able to use those calibrations to be able to direct them to the target, just like the calibrations on the field gun. Those calibrations were used by a guy who was spotting it and would radio them to tell them, because they could use those just the same as that.
So this is a 5.5 inch gun. This weapon was the standard medium gun in the British Army from 1944. It equipped most medium regiments of the Royal Artillery. The 5.5 inch gun could fire a 36 kilogram standard charge at 16 kilometres with a rate of fire
2 rounds a minute.
of 2 rounds a minute.
reputed for its accuracy, it could be fired within 2 meters of the target within minutes of taking up the firing positions. The crew of 10 could bring the gun weighing 5 tons into action. So, brilliant. And it was towed behind a truck, a Matador AEC Matador truck, which also carried the ammunition and spares and essential tools, probably the men as well. So brilliant. Right, we're now going to find a couple buried together. Born in Watford in Hertfordshire, England, Emile was just 19 years old on the 6th of June 1944. A paratrooper and a specialist dog handler, he jumped behind enemy lines with his paradog, Glenn. Highly trained dogs served alongside soldiers, often on guard duty or during dangerous patrols. Emile and Glenn were both killed in action on D-Day. They are buried together in Ranville Cemetery. Had he known our boy, you'd have loved him too. Glenn, his parachute dog, was killed with him. Very sad.
Oh.
That's what we've written. We've written to Emile and Glenn, rest easy soldier, rest easy boy.
There's even dog ties as well. Oh.
Well, immediately, as soon as I read that, I thought to myself, oh, if only we had a dog toy.
And we've stopped off at the British Normandy Memorial. For me, it's quite personal, is this? This is part of Gold Beach, where the British forces landed